All right, let's talk about psyllium husk. You've got this stuff, you've heard it's a super fiber, but are you really getting everything you can out of it? Turns out the secret isn't just that you're taking it, it's all about how you mix it. And believe me, that one little choice, it can change everything. So I've got to ask, are you taking it the right way? Because by the end of this, all that confusion is going to be gone. We're going to replace it with some solid science so you can walk away with the confidence to get this right every single time. Okay, so first things first. To get the mix right, you've got to understand psyllium's core magic. Seriously, don't think of it as just some powder. It's more like a tiny hydroengineering marvel. Let's dive into the science of its gel.
So what's actually happening here? Well, psyllium is a soluble fiber, and it's packed with these molecules called arabinoxylans. Now, you don't need to remember that name. Just think of them as these incredibly thirsty little particles. They just soak up massive amounts of water. We're talking many times their own weight. And when they do that, they transform from a simple powder into this thick, viscous gel. And that gel? That's the whole point. That's the main event. This transformation, this switch from powder to gel, that is precisely what gives psyllium all its amazing digestive benefits. It's the real magic behind the curtain.
Okay, so we know it needs liquid to do its thing. The next logical question is, which liquid? And this, my friends, brings us to the great liquid showdown. We've got three main contenders stepping into the ring. In one corner, you've got water, the reliable, old-school classic. Next up, we have milk, a bit of a complex contender with some hidden catches. And finally, there's yogurt, the gut-friendly powerhouse. Let's break them down one by one. Let's kick things off with water. Look, it's simple, it's effective, and, the research backs this up. It's a neutral medium. What does that mean? It means it just lets the psyllium do its job. No interference, no complications. You get that consistent, predictable gel every single time. It really is the gold standard for a reason. All right, next up, milk. Now, this one's a more complicated partner for psyllium. It can work beautifully, but you absolutely positively have to understand the rules of engagement here. Okay, here is the most crucial thing you need to know about milk. At really high concentrations, we're talking over 10% fiber in the mix, which, by the way, is a lot. The psyllium can actually bind with the calcium in the milk. And what that does is it reduces your body's ability to absorb that calcium by up to 19%. Now that's a big number, but, and this is a really big but, here's the context that changes everything. That whole calcium issue, it only pops up at those crazy high doses. At moderate, normal levels, like under 1%, which is much closer to what you'd probably be using, there's no significant effect at all. Actually, the proteins in the milk can interact with the psyllium and create a way smoother, more stable texture. So yeah, a little bit is totally fine. It can even be helpful. And that brings us to our final contender, yogurt. Now this isn't just a simple mix. Oh no, this is a team-up, a partnership. When you combine psyllium and yogurt, you are literally creating what scientists call a symbiotic superduo. So what in the world is a symbiotic effect? It's actually brilliant. Think of it like this. The psyllium is a prebiotic. That's basically food for all the good bacteria in your gut. The yogurt, on the other hand, provides the probiotics. That's the good bacteria themselves. So you put them together, and the prebiotic psyllium acts like a fertilizer for the probiotic bacteria from the yogurt, helping them thrive. It's a win-win. So the benefits here are crystal clear. You get that amazing symbiotic boost for your gut, you get a much better texture with way less of that weird liquid separation, and honestly, it's just plain easier to swallow. Now, if you want the optimal mix, the science points to about 0.5% to 1.5% psyllium in your yogurt. That's the sweet spot. Okay, so we've picked our liquid. Awesome. But now for the next big question on everyone's mind. Does temperature matter? Let's settle this hot versus cold debate once and for all. So you've basically got two main ways to go. Using cold or room temp liquid. That's the standard method, right? It creates what's called a gel particle suspension. But using hot or warm liquid, well, that does something pretty different. It dissolves the psyllium way faster, and it actually alters the gel's structure, at least temporarily. Yeah, look, using cold or room temp liquid is the go-to for a reason. It's just simple and effective. It does exactly what you expect it to do, swelling those psyllium particles into that gel you're looking for. No fuss, no complications. But this is where the science gets really cool. With heat, psyllium forms something called a thermoreversible gel. So when you add hot water, the gel's structure basically melts. But here's the kicker. As it cools back down, it doesn't just go back to normal. No, it actually reforms into a stronger, more fibrous gel. How amazing is that? It's a total transformation. And hey, don't worry about damaging it with the heat. The research is totally clear on this. Psyllium is incredibly stable. It can handle heat up to a whopping 160 degrees Celsius. So what that means for you is, whether you mix it hot or you mix it cold, by the time it gets down into your digestive system at body temperature, it's going to be ready to do its job perfectly.
All right, we've talked liquids, we talked temperatures. Now it's time for the most important part. Let's put all this knowledge to work and craft your perfect mix.
So what does this all actually mean for you? It really just comes down to one thing. What's your goal? Let's figure that out and build your ideal psyllium routine right here, right now. Think of this as your ultimate cheat sheet. Let's just walk right through it. If your goal is just simplicity and reliable regularity, go with water. It's your best bet for that neutral, predictable gel every time. Easy. Now, if you're laser focused on enhancing your gut health, you're gonna wanna go with yogurt to create that awesome synbiotic effect. And finally, if it's the texture that's been bugging you, a small amount of milk. And remember, we're talking less than 1% concentration. We'll use those protein interactions to give you a way smoother experience. And before we finish up, there are 2 golden rules that apply to everyone, no matter how you mix it. Rule number 1, fiber needs water to work, period. So when you up your fiber, you have to up your total water intake for the day. Super important. And rule number 2, drink it fast. I'm serious, this stuff thickens up in a hurry, and trust me, you do not want to be trying to eat it with a spoon.
So there you have it. You are now officially armed with the science to make the absolute best choice for your body and your goals. The only question left is, what's going to be your perfect mix?